On this episode, we continue with day 6 of the G1 Climax 31 by New Japan Pro Wrestling, displaying B Block action. Also, we got MLW with Fusion Alpha number 2, with the main event being for the National Openweight title on the line. We even got AEW to head out to Rochester, paying tribute to the late Brodie Lee, who's originally from Rochester. And of course, the main event is the TNT title between Miro and Sammy Guevara. And finally, I'm going to review a new show by a promotion out of Jersey called Hardcore Hustle Organization, or as they call themselves, H2O. And also going to throw in some news updates for all of you to tell you what's been going on in the wrestling world. So, let's get started with another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, let's begin with New Japan Pro Wrestling on day 6 for the G1 Climax. Right now we got the B blocks in action. So let's go with the first match. And I have to say, this match right here was a good one in my opinion, because it showed what kind of things going on. We have Evil along with the spoiler, or as we call him, his insurance policy, Dick Togo, of facing off against Taichi with his little lucky charm, Miho Abe. I have to say, this match was great. I have to say, even though I would have liked to see this one in the end, but it was a good match. As you know, Taichi has always been the kind of guy who finds a way to cheat, but this time he was on the straight and narrow path. But however, Kevin Kelly did point out a good various point. Taichi was known for that, but Evil is much worse than cheating. As you know, he has the spoiler by his side, so he had to either go back to being that guy that did whatever it takes to win. And that's what he wanted. Kevin Kelly thought maybe Taichi needs to do that. But however, Dick Togo sunking to a new low. He used Miho Abe to distract him or leverage him. But the referee did not see that, of course, Evil low blow Taichi, costing him. Now, Taichi was undefeated for the first 2 matches. This was his first match now that he lost. But something tells me this is not the end between Taichi and Evil. I know for a fact Taichi will not appreciate that a man touches Miho Abe. Someone needs to answer for it. Now, our next match, I have to say, is the most funnest but interesting match. Chase Owens taking on, of course, Sonata. Now, why is that? If you guys know this or not, Sonata is always applying his submission move that only a few people were able to pull it off. And I'm talking about the Paradise Lock. Milano Collection, ATA, was one of the first ones to pull off this maneuver. Sonata, over the years, have been using that, but whenever he does it, he looks at Milano for approval. Now, Chase Owens claimed that he knows how to do it, but of course, he made a mistake. And then Sonata pulled it off. And I think Chase did not study the technique properly like he would have, but it cost him the match until he was put in the skull end, and then that moonsault, allowing for Sonata to win his match. Now, our next match is Jeff Cobb taking on Hiroki Goto. Now, this was another interesting match. Now, Jeff Cobb currently is undefeated. I have to say, I would have assumed Goto would try to be that one guy to put him off his game, at least have one loss. But no, Jeff Cobb put him in the tour of the islands and allowing himself to pick up a good victory. Our next match, we have Tama Tonga taking on the Ace Hiroshi Tanahashi. Now, I know there's been a lot of talk about the Bullet Club recently because of what's been going on, but that's another conversation for another time. But Tama pulled every stop that he could to beat a guy like Tanahashi, but somehow he was able to pick up the victory when he finished him off with his sort of like a belly flop or whatever he was calling it, and allowing himself to win the match. So he got himself some 2 points on this one. Now our main event is a showdown between Chaos members. We got Yoshihashi taking on Kazuchika Okada. Now this was a brutal match. Now you can imagine Okada's looking right across his stablemate, someone that he looked out for, Yoshihashi. And I have to say, Yoshihashi did not back down whatsoever. He actually continued on, but he lost when Okada applied the Rainmaker on him, allowing himself to win the match. Now, is he one of those that could possibly win? Well, he's back being the Rainmaker that we all know, but it's a little too soon to tell. But we'll continue more on the following episode on day 7. Okay, so we're back with Major League Wrestling. We got MLW Fusion ALPHA number 2. It opened up with Lucha Libre style. We got Ares and Aramis. These are wrestlers that I've seen in GCW or Warriors Wrestling. It was a very impressive match. Now, I wouldn't pass anything. Lucha Libre has always been welcome in MLW for who knows how long, but it was a great match, a good one to watch. But Aramis pulled it off with an amazing pin, allowing himself to win the match. Now, Matt Cross seems like he has some unfinished business with Cesar Durant. If you guys know this or not, Matt Cross was known as Son of Havoc. Looks like they're trying to build up a somewhat version of what they knew of when they knew each other back in the old days of Lucha Underground. So basically, what's going on, he's asking for a title opportunity. Now, basically, he's been asking for a shot of the MLW World Heavyweight title, which is currently in the hands of Contra member, what's his name, Jacob Fatu. But I very doubt that Cross is going to be the one to dethrone him. But we'll see what happens then. Now, interesting news is coming from MLW. As you know, I mentioned there's going to be a brand new women's division, the featherweight division. It debuts next week. I'm excited because I know people have been now picking up on this. I know that MLW has been working hard to have women's wrestling in MLW, and we're going to have the debut next week. We have Willow Nightingale facing off against Ashley Voss. I'm so excited for this match. I've been wondering when will this happen, and now it's going to happen. Now, our next match we have is Bud Heavy taking on Alex Kane, being accompanied with King Mo. Now, much like Mo, Alex Kane felt disrespected that he was not invited to participate in the Opera Cup tournament. Mo felt the same way last year when he was invited because he felt his MLW made a big mistake in having low-key getting himself involved while he was out on injury. Well, he did wrestle, but however, King Mo was not put in he was set up as a replacement or relief, however you put it, but he felt he was being robbed. So I don't know if they're going to continue with that line, but however, Alex Kane was impressive when he took out Bud Heavy for the pinfall. Now our main event, we have the MLW National Openweight title. We have Tom Lawler, who is trying to get back on his game, taking on the current and longest reigning National Openweight Champion, Alex Hammerstone. I have to say it was a good match. I know Alex Hammerstone will do whatever it takes. As you know, he is the current number one contender for the MLW World Heavyweight title. So he got this title on the line as well on no on Fightland. I'm excited for that match to take place. But it was Hammerstone who picked up an amazing victory, allowing himself to retain the title. Now, while Alicia Atout was waiting to get a word out of him, Richard Holiday pushed her out of the way because apparently there was a sneak attack by Contra Unit. They want to ensure that, of course, Alex Hammerstone does not make it to Fightland in order for him to face Jacob Fatu for the MLW World title. So we'll see what's going to happen next week. I'm excited for, of course, the women's division for the first time. I hope you guys get to see that too. So right now, let's keep moving forward with AEW. Well, AEW, we're in Rochester. Of course, we all know who is originally from there. And that is Brodie Lee. I have to say it was a great event. I enjoyed it. So let's talk about the opening match. We had, of course, well, it opened up CM Punk making his way to the commentary, but he went around to greet anyone. But if you guys been knowing this, he did not stage dive. Apparently, because of the state of New York, they're forbidding CM Punk from doing stage diving due to COVID restrictions. Now, there was a lot of confusion on that about AEW banned CM Punk. No, no. Punk is not banned from AEW. It's the New York State illustration, I can't pronounce it right, that are saying to AEW, we don't want Punk to stage dive to his audience. Now, he did this when he was in Chicago. Now, I don't know if the other states are in that type of predicament. But since this was in Rochester, New York, it was in the entire state of New York that he's not allowed to do that. So that explains a lot. So don't mind the confusion. I'm setting the record straight for all of you. Now, the opening match was, of course, Adam Cole versus Jungle Boy. What a great opening match. I have to say it was unbelievably good. I enjoyed. Now, Adam Cole thought that he had everything under control when he put Jungle Boy in a Tequila Sunrise. It didn't. He even tried the Shining Wizard like once and he missed. But apparently, Cole got away with it when he gave the low blow to Jungle Boy, and Aubrey Edwards, the referee, did not see a thing. Now, during the post match, we just saw coming down to the ring the Elite. Now, Kenny wants to address saying that he doesn't care how the match was between him and Bryan Danielson, but he was not going to get a rematch. But however, apparently Bryan Danielson found a way to get under his skin. He calls him Kenny No Balls Omega. And Jim Ross says this, that's going to be a good t-shirt sell. I'm like, why not? That's what they're good for. And I think it tells the story. And then, of course, Kenny wanted to fight him right now. But however, Daniel Bryan was not stupid. So he called reinforcements. He called Frankie Kazarian, Jungle Boy, Marco, Luchasaurus, and of course, the Elite Hunter, Frankie Kazarian. So it kind of showed that these guys are now probably. Now, I would like to see the Jurassic Express, all three members, Frank Kazarian, Bryan Danielson, and Christian, they should form a faction to face off against the Elite. It would be good, you know? Now, in the backstage, we saw the Lucha Brothers, of course. They brought in both championships, the AEW titles, and of course, the AAA. Now, Andrade shows up once again asking them, where is Pac? They don't know where he is, you know? And of course, he did state that he wants to challenge the Lucha Brothers for the AAA titles, but he also said he has friends. Now, this is something I will talk about in the news updates because there's been a lot of talk about that, but you'll see why. Moving forward. Now, we have a much interesting match. We have Matt Sydal teaming with Dante Martin taking on Lee Johnson and Cody Rhodes of the Nightmare family being accompanied by Arn Anderson and Cody. Now, as you know, Arn Anderson has played the coach throughout Cody's AEW career, but this time he was not paying attention or listening to the plays. Now, Arn Anderson made it clear he wanted Lee Johnson to be the first to be stepping out in the ring to face off whoever's there, but Cody did it himself anyway. It was a good match. It did show a lot of great character. However, it was Lee Johnson who picked up one hell of amazing victory, and I think they're doing this to give a much bigger, clear picture. Now, at the match and the post match, Tony Schiavone was interviewing Cody. However, Arn Anderson has just had enough with him. Last week, Cody dropped the ball. He was more worried about Arn Anderson, but he lost focus when he lost to Malachi Black. So this could be the end of the relationship between Arn Anderson and Cody Rhodes. So does this mean that Arn Anderson is leaving the Nightmare family? Does this mean Lee Johnson joins him? I don't know. I would like to see that. Now, our next match is, of course, we got Darby Allin teaming up with Eddie Kingston and John Moxley, being accompanied by Sting, taking on Bear Bronson, Bear Boulder, the Bear Country, along with the AEW Dynamite debut of Anthony Green, or as you guys know him on NXT, August Gray. It was a phenomenal match, but I think the best moment took place is when Anthony Green thought he had everything under control, but he got in the wrong place at the wrong time with Kingston and Moxley, but it was Kingston that picked up the victory. But however, this is their way of hazing Anthony Green when Sting put him in the Scorpion Death Drop. So that was finished. That was great. Now, in an interesting video package, Ruby Soho is self-aware now that she lost the match. However, this thing with her and Britt Baker is far, far from over. Britt Baker thinks, oh, now get back in the line. But don't count Ruby Soho just yet. You know she's going to get back in the top 5 to make the rankings in order to win another opportunity of the AEW Women's World Title. Now, we have a very interesting 16-man tag team match. We have one side, Matt Hardy along with the HFO, Private Party, TH2, Butcher and the Blade, Jorah Jarrell, taking on Orange Cassidy and all 7 members of Dark Order. Now, the real question is, can the Dark Order coexist? Tony Khan made it perfectly clear that these guys need to put their differences aside because this is all about Brodie. And that's exactly what took place. Now, at some point, a misfire took place by Alex Ronda to bump Evil Uno. Evil Uno seems like he was out of it. He was mad. Stu was trying to reason with him, so was the Colt. But out of nowhere, here comes -1 and the son of Brodie Lee and Amanda Hubbard, Brodie Lee's wife, along with Tay Conti and Anna Jay. And of course, who could forget the infamous paper tossed by Brodie Lee, now -1, did that to Evil One. I missed those moments. But Amanda told them to put their different sides and get their butts back. This is not going to happen on the night of Brodie Lee. And they did, and they finished off the match. Everyone got a piece of the pie when they took out HFO. And finally, we saw exactly what we needed. The one person that was able to unite Dark Order was Amanda Hubbard, the late wife, the widow of John Hubbard, better known as Brodie Lee. I'd say it was great to have her be involved. Now, we had the biggest news ever. Now, this has been already in the news. Tony Khan has been in talks in having Leo Rush make his appearance on AEW before. Now, he was out on injury. He said he was retired, but he made his comeback. But looks like he is now officially All Elite. I am so happy. I think We know that Lio Rush is good with the mic and he's very talented in the ring. So I'm excited. I hope you guys too. It's going to be one great roster that we're going to see so far. Now, I don't know what FTR and Tully Blanchard are planning, but it looks like they're trying to get back in the spotlight. As you know, they should be right now. I don't know exactly what the tag team ranks, but it seems like they're sending out a message. Now, once again, as you know, a result of last week of Chris Jericho being destroyed by members of American Top Team, apparently Lambert is laughing at him, saying that he's never coming back. Don't ever say that. And of course, the Men of the Year felt they've been disrespected, not giving them the opportunities that they deserved, and they're asking people to shut up and stop doubting them. I doubt that that's going to happen. Now, for a long time, we haven't seen Hikaru Shida being on Dynamite ever since she lost the AEW Women's World Title to Britt Baker on Double or Nothing. Now she's making her return to Dynamite for her 50th win. She's currently 49 matches. She's done, and she's facing with the woman of 1,000 holds. I'm talking about the former NWA Women's World Champion, Serena Deeb. So this is going to be a slobber knocker of a match, as what JR would say. And I'm excited to see that. So that's going to take place next week. Now, our next match is a women's tag team match. We have Penelope Ford and the Bunny taking on TJ, or as we know them as Tay Conti and Anna Jay. I have to say, it was a good match because it showed as these two, well, Tay is not officially a member of Dark Order, but more of an associate. But it was a good match. But Tay Conti took out the Bunny while, of course, the Queen Slayer was put in place on Penelope before, and she passed out, allowing for TJ to finally win the match. And to celebrate them, -1 came out and gave them a hug. As you know, he is very close to Tay Conti and Anna Jay, and it was a great moment to see him there. Now, MJF once again comes out with an amazing promo saying he is the top pillar of the AEW roster. He talked about Darby Allin, Jungle Boy, of course, Sammy Guevara. But Darby Allin comes out telling him, if you are a pillar of AEW, then why you don't have a championship? He sees Sammy has an opportunity. And you know, that kind of fits in well. It's true. If he is the pillar, then why doesn't he have a title? And I think that got into his head. But however, he countered it, trying to get into Darby's head about the most painful memory of Darby Allin's life, where his uncle, who was drunk, died in the car accident, and he survived. But he said something that he said he wished it should have been Darby, not his uncle. But Darby told him, you're not going to break me. Now let's get to the main event for the AEW TNT title. I have to say, one hell of a match. I have to say, the match was mostly controlled by Miro, but at some moments, Sammy was able to counter. There was a great counter with the Spanish Fly and everything else. But however, Miro thought he had everything under control. He thought he got the whole thing under his bag. He even removed the top turnbuckle safeties away from that. It's the same thing he did with Fuego last week or 2 weeks ago. But Fuego came around to help, but Sammy Guevara took advantage of it and got him good. He even put him in the go to hell maneuver, and then finally the 630 splash, and he did it 1, 2, 3. He is now our new AEW TNT champion, and I have to say, this is coming in a long time. I have talked about Sammy before. I did state it. He did try it for WWE, and they told him he wasn't good enough. Now ask yourselves, WWE, was he good enough now? But that doesn't end there for anything. As soon as the match was over, apparently there was a tweet, and now the Forbidden Door is now being broken. I mentioned Bobby Fish is now officially with the NMLW roster, and he issued a challenge for the TNT title against Sammy. Sammy responded after the first commercial break on the new reality show Rhodes on Top, where he addresses he's willing to face Bobby Fish next week. However, it appears that Men of the Year, along with Dan Lambert, took offense that he is giving opportunities to someone who is not working in AEW. This is going to cause a problem for those like Men of the Years claiming that they're squandering away opportunities to people that don't deserve it. But however, if I know Sammy, we do know they'll give him time to build up legitimately as a champion. But the real question remains, who will be the lucky heel to dethrone him? Only time will tell. But right now, let's just enjoy the moment. He is now the TNT champion. Okay, the last wrestling show I'm going to review for all of you. This is from a promotion called H2O, or Hardcore Hustle Organization. This took place on the 28th of March. Their show is called Subterranean Violence number 1. Now, if there are some names you may or may not remember or know of, I'm sorry about that. This is a brand new promotion I've never seen. But if there's some names, I will mention them for you guys so you can get a clear idea of where I've seen them. The opening match was Adonis Valerio taking on Reed Walker. Now, these two guys, I don't know, but it was a very interesting match. Um, Reed Walker was very impressive. I was really enjoyed what he can do, and it was great to see him win. I just want to learn more about these guys. But there are more to come for that. Now, our next match is a six-man tag team street fight match. First team, we got Gigi Everson, Kristen Ross, and Chris Bradley taking on Jeff Cannonball, who I see in IWC No Holds Barred, Sean Henderson, and Mike Quest. This match was crazy. There was a moment where Cannonball was whacking Everson with like the frying pans. I'm like, wow, that was good. But somehow Everest, Ross, and Bradley ended up winning the match. Our next match is Declan Grant versus Chuck Payne. I have to say this is more where I see, okay, Payne is giving out Payne for Declan. I'm like, whew, makes sense. And he picked up a victory when he put him out of his misery. Our next match is the Devil's Bull Rope match between Mark Angel and Drew Blood. Now, I want to pause there about that name. Drew Blood. You know what I mean? He drew blood. Yeah, you get the joke. But yeah, I thought it was a weird name. But anyway, I have to say the bull rope match was interesting. But however, there was a mistake that Mark Angel made. Drew Blood had one more corner to tap, and that was the one where that Mark Angel tried to prevent, but he did not see that it was already over the moment he got him. It was like sign of protest for him, like he can't believe it, but it did. Now our next match is a Mind Games death match. I don't know what the hell is a Mind Game, against Anthrax with Double X taking on someone who I've seen in other promotions, Marcus Mathers. It was a good match. I have to say, I don't know what the hell was the Mind Games about, but it was a good one, with Marcus Mathers picking up a great victory to ensure he moves on. Our next match is the H2O hybrid title number 1 contendership in a 5-way ladder match. We had Frankie Pickard, Jimmy Lloyd, Rocket, Dylan McKay, who I seen in AGCW, and Alex Stretch. It was unbelievable. Anything could happen. But the winner for this one was Dylan McKay, so he gets a shot of the H2O hybrid title. Then we move on to Devin Moore taking on Jimmy Lyon. I have to say this one was more blood and guts type. It was Jimmy Leon who actually won the match. I was like, wow, he was bleeding and he'd win the match. Now our next match is a no rules match. We have Nolan Edwards taking on Austin Lake. I have to say it was a good one. Nolan Edwards has been impressive in death matches and all this other stuff, and he has continued to impress me the most. And he was surprisingly the one that won the match. And I have to say, watching, there'll be more of H2O down the line. I can't wait to review those for all of you. But right now, let's move on with the last thing I'm going to do, which is the news updates. So let's do that right now. All right, so welcome to the news updates. Now, by the time this video is uploaded on the 30th, so right now it's the 29th, we have, of course, the latest news coming from Stardom. It was announced that Jungle Kyona is leaving Stardom. Now, there is no indications why. There's been speculations about things like this. Jungle Kyona hasn't wrestled since last year because, if you guys have been aware, she had multiple injuries and she had multiple, injuries, multiple surgeries and treatments. She wrestled not only at Stardom, but her last wrestling performance was at WMZ Promotions, which is Kiora Yonayama's promotion. But she made her appearance at the this past May, for the Hanakamura Memorial Matinee Show, where she comes out on the ring, does the Yes Sir with Konomi and Def Yamasan, or as we know her now, Fukigen Def. Now, there were expectations that she would come back to Stardom, but apparently she made the official statement. It's all in Japanese. I can't read it, but hopefully more will be revealed. Now, do I think they're saying that there's no indication that she's retiring or she's going to have any plans to go with any other promotion? It's still unclear. But whatever it is, we will give her our full support, and hopefully, and of course, everybody from Stardom, like Momo, wish she could have had her opportunity to have a match with her and all that. But we'll see what happens. Only time will tell. So we'll give our full support. Now, as you know, we got Game Changer Wrestling events coming up, but this one has been announced. AAA star Psycho Clown will make his debut on October 23 with War Ready. Now, his opponent is still unclear, but I'm excited to see that because Psycho Clown has been one of my favorite wrestlers to enjoy. He's a third generation wrestler out of Mexico. Recently, his dad passed away. He was in a match not too long ago in Triple Mania for the hair versus hair mask stipulation. I'm excited. I think the fans of GCW are going to have something special. They're going to love Psycho Clown. I know I have. I've seen him once before when AAA were here in San Diego for a show. And can't wait to see him on GCW. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about is the latest updates about Rush, who, of course, was the former two-time ROH World Champion. As you know, Rush is out on injury for at least 6 to 12 months. It's just been reported that his contract with Ring of Honor is expiring. It's still no indication if he will resign. However, there's now a definite interest with AEW and WWE to have him. Now, Rush had been warned not to go to WWE by, of course, someone we know, Andrade El Idolo. However, there's indications that he could show up in AEW for a few reasons. A, he and Andrade were part of the original Los Ingorvenables faction, when it was just him, La Máscara, and of course, Andrade. I'm like, hopefully that's the case. but we don't know for sure what's going to happen. I'm kind of curious what Andrade has for the future. I just think maybe he brings someone that he knows from his own Guadalajara days, but we don't know. But Rush, he hopefully does get recovered fully. I can't wait to see him when he gets back. And it's still unclear about his brothers, um, Dralistico, Dragon Lee, and Bestia, and of course Kenny King. But all we can do is wait and see what's going to happen down the line. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed these reviews that I got with AEW, MLW, the New Japan, of course, and also introducing a brand new promotion you guys never heard of, H2O. Um, I will make this announcement right now. I will talk about the latest Roads on Top reality show on the podcast as soon as possible. I haven't done that for quite some time because apparently I was dealing with other personal stuff. Nothing major, in case you guys are wondering. Um, right now, I'm mostly focused on the upcoming episodes, so this is what we're expecting for the next one. We got more on the G1 Climax Day 7th by New Japan Pro Wrestling. Of course, we got NXT UK, Impact Wrestling, but also decided to throw in Tokyo Yoshi Pro for an event that took place in mid-June called Additional Attack. Now I'm a little behind with everything else, but I'm hopefully I get close enough to fill in the gap for all of you to catch up with everything. But for now, I'm going to end it right here. So I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.